All right, good morning again. Kind of missed that video yesterday because I had friends over, had a little bit to drink, and really didn't feel like posting what I recorded. Anyways, it's Prepping Outside the Box. It's Josh, and today we're going to talk about weapon, gear, body, and in that order. And we're going to call it the Holy Trinity of preventive maintenance. I know everyone knows like PMCS, preventive maintenance checks and services. Goodness gracious. Excuse me. But yeah, we'll call it our Holy Trinity of preventive maintenance. Anyways, so we're going to start off with weapon, right? It's going to be your life, your security, right? It is security of you and yours, and by that I mean your friends, your family, and all that kind of stuff. So your weapon goes down, you have a better chance of going down yourself, especially in a bad SHTF situation. You lose your security, I would say you kind of lose your freedom. But first off, your weapon, I want you to ask yourself, when's the last time you fired your weapon and really tested it out, for one? When's the last time you cleaned it? Gave it a nice thorough cleaning. Actually took it all the way apart and examined it. Clean the rust off of it, things like that. I mean, they are going to build, rust. Especially if you don't keep it a nice little, not a fair amount, but a nice little amount of lube on your baby. You know what I mean? So keep after it. Make sure you function check it after you put it back together. Don't just clean it up, put it back together, and think you're good to go. Check it and then check it again, right? So I highly encourage you to go back out there and shoot. Obviously, training's paramount. It's huge. But just keeping your weapon serviceable and all that kind of stuff is super important. Like I said, for life and security for you and yours. Next, because I mean, there's so many other classes you can do for weapons. I just want to get it in your mind that it is, to me, the most important part, right? Your weapon. But gear, next would be gear. And what we're talking about in gear, damaged, misplaced, hard to find, and things like that could mean harm or death. And by that, I'll kind of get into it. Let's say your IFAC. And I highly encourage you guys, again, always do, put on your gear, adjust it as needed, make sure it fits right. People gain weight, lose weight, things like that. Don't just expect your gear to fit the same way, right? So, however your life's treating you, make sure you put it on every once in a while, make sure it's good to go. Make sure your IFAC's in a good position. Your medical kit, which you need one. Tourniquet, huge. Have a tourniquet on you. And is it accessible? Is it easily accessible for you to use it with one arm or something like that? And we could do medical classes later on, YouTube versions. But make sure that's good. Make sure it's accessible. If you have a team and things like that, make sure your med kit, your IFAC, is set up the same across the board. So if they're using yours to treat you, because you never use your own on somebody else, if they're using yours to treat you, or if you're using yours, it's almost like muscle memory, a little OCD in there to make sure that everything has its place and everyone knows where that place is, right? So going back to it, just like the weapon, when's the last time you went through your gear? When's the last time you tried it on, you test fit it, you checked it for cuts and things like that, tears or whatever, but actually did some preventive checks on it, so it doesn't just fail you when the time is most dire, right? But go through, clean it up, organize it, and make sure it's good to go. Go back to the notes. Let's see here. Yeah, so going back to it, say you're training with your gear or anything like that, or you're just bugging out, and a lot of this preventive maintenance is going to be huge during it. It's not just some like pre-SHTF, my stuff's good to go, and then while you're out there, you're just out there. It's a consistent thing. It never leaves. Maybe you're bugging out, and maybe going through heavy brush, thorn bush. There's so much stuff like out in the wooded areas and things like that. You tear your bag, rip the strip or the strap a little bit. Your sleeping system, however you have it set up, I don't know, but keep an eye on things like that so you can keep up repairs and keep your gear in good working order. Cleanliness is just as much as you can, obviously. Knock off the dust, right? I will say, well, lastly and mostly, well, kind of, obviously, weapons more important, but lastly is your body. And I beg for the love of God, even if you're in an SHTF situation, clean your body as much as possible. Humans are pretty nasty in general, right? We can get some things going wrong. Ask any RN, nurse, medic that you want. Some nasty stuff can go on in your body, so keep care of yourself. Keep it as clean as you can, and it doesn't go all the way, but it goes a little way. Baby wipes and things like that, just to wipe the important areas and keep it as clean as possible. You're not going to smell great at all. We're not really worried about smell right now. We're worried about keeping you as clean as possible. But yeah, baby wipe will go a long way, right? Especially if you don't come across some kind of a water source or something to be able to clean yourself up good. But for the love of God, clean yourself. Next, I would say your teeth, and I'm not a dentist. I don't know a lot about teeth care. I know you can floss, and I know you can dry brush and do some things that is at least better than just letting them rot, letting them go to hell. So keep on your little mouth health there too, right? Don't just sit there and wipe your armpits and your privates and all that kind of stuff, and then just think you're good to go. You still have a mouth, you still have teeth. They fall out, you got problems, and there's no dentist you're just going to run up to unless you are lucky enough to have one on your team. So, teeth. Two huge things I think you should keep with you also for your body, for your preventive maintenance, is Vaseline. Even if you get a little one, you can put in your go bag or something. But Vaseline, moleskin's huge too. I'd like to say your feet are your Cadillacs. They take you everywhere. They carry all your weight. They do everything for you. So taking care of your Cadillacs, maybe you're starting to get blisters. Maybe you weren't ready for something, whatever it is. You went just a long ways and built up some pain. Their moleskin's going to go a huge way for that. And I would look further into it. There's I guarantee a whole bunch of YouTube videos on proper ways to use it and how to help with blisters and things like that. But moleskin, Vaseline though, there's a lot of chafing, a lot of rubbing. You go bugging out for a while and you're on foot, and I like to always go back to being on foot because worst case scenario, right? So taking some of that Vaseline, rubbing it up inside your thighs, up inside the area right there, keeps a lot of that chafing down, so you're not sitting there going 10 miles like I just did yesterday and sadly forgot to put Vaseline on. It rubs, and it can rub raw. So, but yeah, you're rucking 10 miles, and then all of a sudden by the time you get done, chafing can kind of slow you down a little bit. At least be so uncomfortable that it kind of takes your mind off what it should be on. So Vaseline, huge thing. All right, so we touched weapon. There's not a lot to go over that. Just make sure you maintain it. Make sure you shoot it. Make sure you're going over the parts and function checking and things like that. Your weapon's your life. Your life, your security, right? Gear is constant as well. All three of these are constant as well. But make sure you're going over your gear. Make sure you clean it as you can, but make sure you're doing that preventive maintenance for tears and rips and all those kind of things, just so it doesn't get worse. You let tears go, and they can, you can exacerbate it somewhere down the line to make it where the gear's almost useless. And then body. Clean your ass, right? So, weapon your body, your little holy trinity. Keep it in the back of your mind. It's constant. It's forever, right? And I'll see you tomorrow. It's Prepping Outside the Box. I'm Josh. Bye.